Sorry, had to unmute it. What up, y'all? How's it going?
Sorry, had to unmute it.
Uh-oh, how do you turn this down? I'm gonna try not to say come on in the room because Elijah just like called people out who go live and be like, come on in the room, come on in the room, or whatever you want to call it. So I want to jump on here before Jessica and Billy Dorsey and David come on. I think David is going to be a little late. He's a family guy, man, which is all dope, taking care of his kids right now. Let's see. I got to have my phone. I got my phone here so I can see comments because I can't see comments here. But what's going on, y'all? Anybody ready to chime in on this like mental talk? Like I really want to talk about this. I know hopefully you guys come in and actually really ask questions or even just share some of your some of the struggles that you've had in your past or have now. Because first of all, it's Mental Health Month. And NAMI does this NAMI walk every year for mental health, just like breast cancer, just like cancer and all that. But NAMI has its own mental health walk. And because of COVID and all that, they've decided to do something a little bit different, which is if you are a member, you have a team, you guys can do whatever you want. So for me, I've decided to put on a live worship next Saturday the 30th, Facebook Live, YouTube Live with some of my worship leader peeps. And anywho, hey Mark, how are you? How's it going, bro? Chris, what's going on? So I'm looking down because I have this. I can see who's on here, my phone. What's going on, Mickey? How's it going? How's it going? I just want to see if how many people are bold enough to say that they have gone through some stuff, that have struggled with mental illness, because the stigma is so bad out there. And it's I think it's worse in minorities, which it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. But here, listen, if I have to be that voice for those that can't speak and talk about it, I will be that voice because I've gone through it. I've been through it. When it comes to anxiety and depression and all the stuff, I've gone through that stuff. Therapist, medication, all that stuff. Suicide, all that stuff. I've been there, done that, had my share of ups and downs and stuff. And the fear of just being ashamed, and just stuffed with guilt and really not wanting to talk about it at first. But now when I tell y'all, I am so okay with talking about mental health. It needs to happen. And that's what I love about, I think Taraji, she talked about her mental health and what happened with her. But anyhow, I'm just waiting on Jessica and Billy to come on. I just wanted to get on here beforehand. I hope you guys can stay tuned in when we chat. Maybe I should start just coming in whenever everybody just actually comes in, like log off and then come back in. But anyhow, because there's nothing fancy about what I have going on. I'm just chopping it up and talking. Eventually I'll get the hang of doing this kind of stuff because I love to do this. And I will have people on here that, to give hope, to inspire, to encourage, to motivate. Because at the end of the day, that's why I want this. That's why Just Been MJ exists. And before COVID, oh, there goes Jessica. Before COVID happened, I created the Just Been MJ, started like trying to tape some folks, record some folks. And then when COVID came, things just fell apart for a little bit. So I decided to turn it around, and I'm just going to start doing Facebook Live and YouTube Live for Just Been MJ and chatting with folks on here rather than face to face in front of a camera. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring Jessica on right now. What's up, love? How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
just fine. I'm trying to make sure there is not an echo going on. I'm trying to make sure. So we're just, I know, how was your day today, girl?
It was good, hectic as always, but it was good.
Are you ready for tomorrow?
No.
I know.
Just
Dude, I don't, dude, I don't even have a voice. Like, I'm talking from my throat. I've been struck, like I'm hoarse, like really. But anyhow.
Okay, so I'm gonna need you to sign off by everybody so she can say her voice with you.
No. That's why I told y'all just let me rap. If y'all would let me rap, we wouldn't have this issue.
No,
you know? But anyhow, to each his own. Just waiting for Billy to come in, but before we get started, I wanted to introduce you guys first, And
okay.
I see that there people hopped on, came on, hopped off, came on, hopped off, but it's all good. No worries.
It seems to be how it is. I've been watching a few other live chats and people kind of come and go.
You know that kind of stuff, it doesn't faze me, but then at the same time, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna make sure I say this right, okay? I'm trying to make, because I wanna. What was that?
Sorry, my baby getting ice.
Oh, life happens, no worries. I just wish people would support more, like support each other more. You know what I'm saying? And we don't do that. We don't do that at all. Instead of supporting, we bash each other. You know what I'm saying? We talk about each other, and I'm talking about really our culture, to be honest with you. But I just wish that we would support each other more, rather than just bashing each other. There's a lot going on. Everybody has things going on these days. So, anyway, is that your kid still? I'm gonna need you to push mute.
Now, mind you, I've been down here by myself for the last, I want to say, 30 minutes, and I gave her a warning twice. Like, okay, I'm about to start a meeting. So she thinks she's being quiet. She really does.
Wow. Listen, it's all good, man. Listen, we have kids, and that's why even for David, man, when David said he'd probably come in later, totally understand. Especially, how many kids does David have again? 5 kids and 2 twins? With that?
No, one set of twins, yeah. Oh. 3-year-olds are twins.
Did I say 2 twins? Like, okay, yeah, one set of twins.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't make sense. Okay, so if you want, we can get started with me just introducing you and you talking about the whole NAMI organization.
Sure.
You want to do that? Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in. I want to make sure y'all see me. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you for coming in here. I would love for you guys to chime in and chat with us if need be. I see on here that you guys are watching. But anyhow, y'all, Jessica McDaniel is the Director of Development for NAMI organizations for Greater Houston area. Right. And as you know, if you don't know, NAMI is a huge organization. It's really one of the nation's largest mental health organizations.
It is. It is. National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about, I know that you are the Director of Development, but what made you want to put on the whole virtual concert for next?
So we're doing a NAMI walk, which is a fundraiser similar to some of the other walks that you see, the cancer. Uh-oh.
You there?
Can you guys see me?
Okay, yeah, you froze a little bit, but go ahead.
Me?
You can't hear me?
There you are. I don't know what happened. But we're doing a walk. Yeah, I can hear you now. It's like I zoned out for a second. It's weird.
Okay.
But our walk had to go virtual because of the COVID situation. And I was just trying to think of some fun ways to fundraise. So I was like, well, what am I good at? What do I have to offer? And my daughter loves to sing. And so I was like, well, maybe we could do like a concert, and I have so many friends who are just super, super talented, like all over the place. So, I put it out there on Facebook, like, hey, who's willing to do this with me? And I was so surprised at the positive response that you guys gave me. And I just felt like art in general is just such a great form of expression. And music has the power to touch so many people. And it's just grown from, this little Facebook concert to like this whole thing. And it's just amazing. You guys are so super talented. I'm so grateful to be working with Billy as a producer.
He's so cool.
He's so cool. Like I told him the other day, I was like, dude, everybody I've introduced you to talks about how down to earth you are. And he's like, yo, I'm just me.
Yeah.
So he's put so much work and time into this, in addition to his own, projects that he has going on in the studio. So it's turned into this really big thing. And my goal is just to reach people. I mean, of course, it's about the fundraising because we need money to be able to help people in the way that we do every day. But I want to reach people, especially during this COVID crisis. And I'm always touched by music, even in a church, situation. It's like the preacher, okay, yeah, we're the choir,
Yeah.
So that's what touches me the most. That's where I connect the most, is through music. So I know that there are other people like me out there who, when they hear these sounds of hope, these songs of hope and love and encouragement and togetherness, they'll get it. Maybe that switch will go off, I'm not alone, and they'll get it. So that's my hope, is that we touch people and we let everyone know that mental health is important. Mental illness is real. And there are organizations like NAMI out there who can help, and we're all in this together, and they're not alone. Nobody has to go through this alone.
Yeah, I love that. I see that Billy is on. I'm going to try to connect him on here in just a few moments. Let me see. Yo.
There he is.
There you are.
What's going on?
What up? Hey, how's it going,
What's
Billy?
up? All is well. How you doing, Mimi?
Just fine. How's it going? I see that you're in the car. Busy guy.
Yeah, I'm moving around. I'm moving around. Today's gonna be one of them days.
But I'm gonna make up a lost time
for this. I appreciate the invite.
Man, I appreciate you for taking time out, all of y'all, for real, to take time out to even just come on here to chat. Because at the end of the day, we're all doing this together, right? We're putting on this event, and we are wanting to give hope to folks. This is Mental Health Month, and there are so many people suffering. There's a high rate still for suicide. And we are willing to be the voices of those who can't speak for themselves. And so I am honored to be a part of NAMI. And you guys are doing a great job, putting this together and putting us out there to, as artists also. So thank you so much, Billy, for coming in. For those that are watching, if you do not know Billy Dorsey, you can definitely go look him up. Billy has gone from homeless to being, can y'all hear me? What is that? Uh-oh. Is that you, Billy? Mute your phone real quick, Billy.
He's muted.
What is that noise? You don't hear that? Okay, that's you, Jessica, because you muted, and that's yours. Okay, so anyways, so Billy has gone from being homeless, y'all, to a award-winning producer, and I'm talking from Grammys to Doves to Stellars. But the beauty about all this is the guy is so freaking humble. He's so dope. He's so humble, so laid back, and that's what we appreciate about him. And I wanted Billy to come on here to share just a little bit of his story firsthand, and to talk about the mental side of things, how he went from being homeless to becoming an award-winning producer.
All right, appreciate that setup. Jessica knows it's always awkward for me. I don't want to say awkward.
Uh-oh, he froze up. He froze up, Jessica. You froze up. Billy. Maybe he should log off and come back on. Tell him to log off and come back on. Jessica, push mute. Push your mute button. Yeah, that's your Jessica. You're gonna need your ears.
It's the laptop. Like the fan and the laptop.
Yeah.
That's the only thing
Put
I can think of.
Put your ears in. Can you text Billy? Because I can't do it on. I can't text him because
Just
I'm
logged
on.
off, so I'm thinking he'll log back in.
Yeah, I think put yours in. Let's see how that
Is that
goes.
better?
I guess. Is that better, y'all? It's better on my end. Can y'all hear Jessica?
That was a super sensitive mic. If you heard that, a little fan.
I don't hear. People are in, but they're not commenting. It's okay.
I
So
see
anyways,
Red Lion Poetry's in the house.
you do? See, I can't see all this stuff. I can see like certain people, but I can't see. Hey Jessica, what's going on?
I
love?
can't see who's on.
You said
What?
red. I see Jessica. Give me
Red
know is
Lion
on. Hey y'all, how's it going? Thank you guys for tuning in. We're waiting for Billy to hop back on. He's on the move, but I definitely appreciate him for jumping on here. We're not going to be on here long. We just want to talk a little bit about mental health and the stigma behind it, and also about Sounds of Hope. But we're going to be singing Songs of Hope.
That's right.
He's trying to come back in. It's saying his device is not. I know that's because he's in his car. Okay, there
Probably.
you go.
I was thinking the same thing.
All right, are you there, Billy?
I'm here. Yeah, I had my phone in the holder in my car, and it overheated. It tells you how hot it is in Texas right now.
Wow.
Yeah, 95 degrees,
Wow.
and I guess the sun shining through the window caused my phone to overheat, so I'm actually holding it now. So
Okay.
let's try this
Well,
again.
as long as you're not driving.
Oh, no, I'm not driving. No, I'm sitting still. But the sun shining through the window on my phone, I guess, made it overheat. So I had to wait until it cooled down so I could sign back in.
So I don't even know where we left off, but you were speaking on.
I'm talking about the mental health journey and homelessness, and you'd asked me to share my story. So long story short, what I was saying was the accolades from our blessing, but they don't define me. And Jessica and I have had conversations about this before too. It's a blessing when people can say that you've accomplished certain things because it gives you credibility in rooms, but it doesn't, and it never should change who you are. And so that's where, if you talk about humility and those things, it's not that I'm trying to be humble. It's just, I understand me doing me ended up homeless. So where I'm now is not because of me, it's because of God working through me. And so you can be humble when you understand it's not about you. But my story, I signed my first record deal when I was 20 years old at Louisiana Tech on a full music scholarship. The record label is based in Houston, so my brother and I and our group, we moved to Houston to start working on that album. The label decided that they wanted to replace one of the members of the group, and I fought against it out of loyalty. They froze our contract out, and I ended up homeless on the streets of Fifth Ward as a result. One of the common questions I get asked, and I try to always answer it preemptively, is, did I use drugs or alcohol? I've never tried a drug in my life, not even weed. Never popped a pill. My wife will tell you I don't even like taking pain pills if I'm hurting. And my first time ever drinking any kind of alcohol was my wedding a couple of years ago in Santorini. I drank champagne at my wedding, and I got drunk on champagne and had a horrible night, my first night as a married man. So alcohol and drugs is not my thing. And that's honest as I can keep it, as 100 as I can keep it. My drug was pride. And when I say that, it's because I came from Shreveport, Louisiana. And, growing up, my brother Emmanuel and I were well known as, you know how in every city you got those people that those are the ones that are going to make it out. From a very young age, we were known as, they're going to make it out. They're going to be successful. And so when I lost that record deal, sticking up for my friend that was a member of the group, I was too prideful to go home a failure. So I ended up homeless because I didn't want anyone to know that I failed. My parents' door was always open. I always had a place that I could have fallen back on, but pride was my drug. And so as a result of me being high on pride, I slept under bridges. I slept on cardboard boxes. I ate out of trash cans. At the end of the night, restaurants throw away all the food that they sell. They put it in a dumpster behind the building. For homeless people, if you're smart, you wait until the manager cuts the lights off and leaves. You go dumpster dive and you get the food. It's not something somebody's eaten off of before, but you're getting it out of the trash can. You know, I had to survive on that. But God delivered me from that through a series of events. How long do we have on the show? Because I don't want to eat up all the time.
Listen, I have you. You're good. Just know that you're good. You're good.
Gotcha. Well, to wrap it up in a nice bow, thank you for that. To wrap it up in a nice bow, I had a guy that allowed me to come live inside his recording studio in Fifth Ward so that I could get off the streets. I didn't know he was addicted to smoking wet. So he would dip his cigarettes in formaldehyde and smoke that. I didn't know. I never even heard of that before. I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, formaldehyde, dead bodies, why would you ever smoke that? It's a real thing. Like, people smoke it with weed and cigarettes and all that. I didn't know that until I moved into the studio. And so the studio had burglar bars. It's still standing now. It's a church called New Beginnings in Christ. Go figure.
Wow.
But back then it was a recording studio, and he would get high on wet, and then there's a thing that happens if you smoke too much of it. They call it getting stuck, where you basically become catatonic for days at a time. So he would lock the burglar bars of the studio and be gone and get stuck on wet, and I'd be trapped inside of the studio with no way to get out to go get food. You know, ain't no dumpster diving if you locked inside of the building and can't get out. There was one key, and he had it. So, I was trapped in that place. My friends, some of them are still a part of my life now. They would come and bring groceries and slide it through the burglar bars of this building so that I could eat. And there was one particular night where my friend brought groceries from Fiesta, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm cool. I might have to make this last until somebody can come bring more food because I was locked in. But I went to sleep that night, and I woke up to the sound of rats eating that food. And when my mental health journey begins, I had already been going through crippling depression while I was locked in that building, like crying myself to sleep, you know, days where I didn't want to move. That, you know, if anybody's ever been through that kind of depression, you know what I'm talking about. But when I woke up and those rats were eating my food, I became suicidal. I was like, there's no point in me continuing on. I don't even want to live anymore. This living, how can I fallen so far? Like all those thoughts. And I remember falling on my knees. The rats were still right in front of me eating my food. And I remember crying out to God because I knew if he didn't answer, I was going to go in the front room of that studio, get the pistol out of there was a big wooden desk by the front of the burglar bars. I would have got that pistol and killed myself. And they would have came in whenever he came back, found my body in there. But I cried to God, and he answered. And he said, I want you to pay attention to every detail of what you're going through, because one day I'm going to take these trials and make them your testimony. God said one day you're going to win Stellar Awards, Dove Awards, and Grammy Awards. You'll have #1 albums, and the world will know your name, but it will not be for your glory. It will be for my glory. And that was it. And so next time the man came to unlock the burglar bars, I had a trash bag with all my clothes in it, and I shot up out of there like a bat out of hell. I'm like, you ain't locking me in here no more. I had a friend of mine that he and his family would come produce their artists before I became homeless. I asked him and his wife, look, I need to get back on my feet. I have a mandate. I know where I'm headed. Can I just sleep on your sofa? I'll get a job. I'll get on my feet, but I need a place that I can go to not have to be on the streets or not be in that studio. And so he and his wife, his name's Gary Hamilton, still a good friend of mine now. He and his wife at the time let me come live in their house, sleep on their sofa. And I got a job at a collection agency. Rode the bus all the way from I-10 and Federal to Greenspoint where the collection agency was. So you're talking about a 3-4 hour bus ride one way every day. But I used the money from that job to build a studio in my first apartment that I got when I got out of their apartment. And the music I made in that first apartment and made with my team got discovered by a famous producer in Beverly Hills, and that's what started everything afterwards.
Wow. So what, and I like that you shared your story, because the reason I think that it's important for us to share our stories, because our stories are not for us. Our stories are for those that are going through, you know, and my hope is that people who are going through, who are struggling with some type of illness, I want them to know they're not alone, that you don't have to think that you're crazy, because people who go through mental health think that I'm going to speak for myself. I thought I was crazy. I thought I had nothing else to live for. And I would beat myself up behind closed doors. But the moment I walked outside, that mask was on my face, you know? But I appreciate you sharing your story, because you're a walking testimony. And there are so many people who go from that are homeless, right? Who think that their story, that's it, that's the end of their story. But you're a prime example that no, it's not the end of your story, right? And what made you want to become an advocate for NAMI and become a board member as well?
Board member wasn't something I ever wanted to do. That was something that was offered to me as an opportunity to have greater impact. But I got involved in NAMI because Lakewood Church and Pastor Joel Osteen have been a huge part of my journey. Pastor Joel was the first international missionary or minister to say, I believe in you, Billy. Let me help support you and put you on my platform and give you visibility in that way. So a lot of the biggest success that I had outside of awards, he was God used him as the conduit for. And Lakewood's men's ministry, when I first got plugged in at the church, had a walk team with NAMI. So that's how I first got connected. I had never heard of NAMI before, but one of my friends, Derek De La Pena, who was at that time a part of NAMI, and he was one of the leaders of the men's ministry at Lakewood, he said, I shared my story just like I just told you guys, and he's like, well, there's an organization named NAMI here in the city. It's national, but they're here in the city, and they would benefit from having you come share your story. So he connected me with somebody named Mari Letta-Gerber, which Jessica, that's why she and I have the relationship we have, because she was my first point of contact with NAMI. And she became like a mother. My mom's still living, but she became like a mom to me, and just really embraced me and my family, and my wife, my kids. And she gave us the opportunity to serve with NAMI in whatever way that we could, whether it was singing the national anthem or, just connecting with youth that they were trying to reach, because my story and the music gave me conduit or a vehicle to reach them. And from that, it grew into me doing tours and traveling around the country to different NAMIs, doing concerts and helping to raise money for them, and just using my platform to help other people. I think that's what it's all about. I've met a lot of people, Mimi, that are successful and have made a lot of money, and they focus everything on themselves. But I think that's a hollow pursuit, and none of them end well. Not saying they die or anything like that, but I'm saying I've met a lot of miserable rich people that they put on fronts. Like you talk about the mask, I could name several famous people that are world famous that you guys would definitely know, that talking with them behind closed doors, they're not happy with any of the success. They're even more insecure now because they define themselves by how many people like a post on Instagram, or how much did this record sell more than that record I put out last time, or those things that they have no control over, they use to gauge their worth. It's hollow. But when you turn the platform that you have into a conduit to be a blessing to other people, then it becomes something that's substantial and has impact. And I'm all about legacy. I want to create things or be attached to things that will outlive me. NAMI is one of those things, and I love being a part of it.
I love NAMI. I love everything that they stand for. And I think that's why I take it so personal. And that's why I'm so excited about this event tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's because I can't remember when I first found out about NAMI. I can't remember. It was a few years back that I found out about that. But I do have a question for you. What are some of the, why do you think, let me make sure I get this correct, because I wrote it down so I won't forget it. Why do you think there's a stigma for individuals who suffer from mental illness?
Because people don't understand it. People fear what they don't understand. Cancer is quantifiable. You get the right CAT scan or X-ray, you can see it. It's a growth inside your body. It's a foreign thing that people can point the finger at and say F cancer, like they do on the MD Anderson signs and stuff like that. It's quantifiable. Mental health isn't something that we can legitimately quantify and say it's this and this is what causes it and this is where it's at and we can take it out and remove it. Mental health scares people.
Yeah.
And anything that people don't understand, they're afraid of, and anything that they're afraid of, they reject or they create stigma so they don't have to deal with.
I wish people would get in their heads that mental illness is not a weakness. I wish that,
of course,
and it, let honestly though, and I'm going to put this out there, when people, and it's more of church people, okay? It's more of church people. If you go out and you share it, hey, I'm going through this kind of situation, they say they won't judge you, but in all, they really do judge you. I've experienced that myself. I've been judged by church folks knowing that I struggled with depression and anxiety and went through this whole ordeal. I was judged by it. And
Of course.
I guess that's why I'm more like drawn to the outcast folks. I love outcast people. It's just something about the outcast folks. I love them, the ones that feel rejected. Those are the people that I'm drawn to.
Of course.
But Jessica, I want to ask you too, have you ever struggled with any type of mental illness in your life before?
Yeah,
That makes
of course.
you be a part of NAMI.
I think most people do. Statistically, 1 in 5 adults live with mental illness. So that means, in any given room, like let's say there are 3 of us, right, and 2 people on the live listening, at least one of us is living with it. That also means the other 4 of us are very, very likely affected by it, right? Because if I'm living with it and I'm working and interacting with you, it's touching your life as well. And that goes for friends, coworkers, caregivers. So it's an issue for most people, whether they know it or not, or whether they acknowledge it or not. And working with NAMI has definitely given me a better understanding about what mental illness is, what it looks like, what it is not, right? Like Billy was saying, we attach these labels and stigma to things that we don't understand. And it's like, that's not what this is at all. Like you got it all wrong. It's not what depression is. It's not what anxiety is. So I've definitely learned a lot with my time at NAMI, and it's helped me. It's helped fuel me, right? It's helped push my work and what I do, because it's such a valid cause and it's so important, especially, now and the things that we're going through. COVID-19, government issues, police shootings, all of these things affect our mental health in some way. And it's tough. And if we don't take care of ourselves and each other, it's tougher.
Yeah. Well, you guys, the both of you have done a great job putting on the virtual concert that we have going on tomorrow. Man, it came so quick, dude. Oh my God. Woo, Lord. But I'm excited. So what can you tell anyone, for those that are watching, we have a virtual concert, okay? It's tomorrow. We want you to go and get tickets, help support. Jessica, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. I would love to. So the concert is called Sounds of Hope because all of the artists are going to be singing songs of hope, songs that are uplifting and bring us all together, because that is what I think the most important message is right now with mental health, with community, with just everything. It's hope and togetherness. So the concert is awesome. Redline Poetry has already got their tickets. That's what's up. But yeah, the concert is going to be 7 artists. They're all artists that are currently local to Houston, but is a virtual concert. So even though these are local Houston artists, you can listen, you can stream from anywhere. And we're going to be, like I said, there's Songs of Hope. Billy is going to be the host along with David Settle, who will hopefully be joining us soon. He's a Radio 1 marketing person. And it's just going to be an awesome night. I'm so excited. Like, you guys are so super talented. Like, which I already knew because I know most of you all, in some way personally. But like listening to the sound checks and the passion that you guys have in your voices, it's so awesome. So yes, please. Oh, you're very welcome, Redline. Thank you for watching. Thank you for getting your tickets. But be sure to share with your friends. We've tried to put that out there, the poster out there in a lot of ways, but be sure to share what we're doing with your friends. I think a lot of people have seen it, but they may not know what it is, or, they haven't taken the time to really read the description. So check out the website. You can go to NAMI's website to get to the ticket site. Our website is namigreaterhouston.org. And the Sounds of Hope poster is front and center, and you just click on it, and it'll take you to the ticket site. And once you get there, you'll have the option to buy the virtual ticket. There's one per device. And you'll even see we have some pretty cool merchandise with T-shirts, mugs, caps with the Sounds of Hope logo. So that's something that you can take with you long after the event is passed. And there's also the opportunity to meet and greet some of the artists, even including the hosts like Billy. So if you always, I've always had a question I wanted to ask Billy Dorsey, or you want to learn more about his story and what he's gone through, or his successes and what he's gone through, please, this is an opportunity for you to talk to him. Maybe not one-on-one, but, 1-on-5 in a more intimate atmosphere. And all the artists have offered their time in that way. So, even Mimi, like she's streaming live, and I know it's kind of one way. So if you want to have an interactive experience, really get down and talk to Jamisha.
She said Jamisha. What about on ma'am? She said Jamisha, y'all. She listen, Jessica been knowing me for a long time. She said, okay, it's all good. It's all good.
See, that's what I mean. We'll talk to her, learn her real name.
She said, don't put my government out there, man. Don't put my government out there.
Only the people who have known me for a long time call me Jamisha, like literally. But so hey, anyhow, what about you, my brother Billy? What about you? Can you share a little bit on this event for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much left to say. I think the big thing for me is people don't have to do the things that they do to serve or to give. And so it's always appreciated when you see people like yourself and the other talented artists. People are locked down right now with their families. Y'all don't have to be doing this, but the fact that you have a heart for it and you're willing to do it and to share your gifts, and then it's for a cause that we believe so strongly in.
Right.
That means the world to me. And so that's why I like stuff like the interviews and stuff like that. If I can make myself available for it, I'm glad to, because y'all are making yourselves available for the event to happen and be successful. And at the end of the day, it's not about any of us or David or the other artists. It's about that mom and their kid, that the kid is dealing with bipolar disorder, and mom doesn't understand it, but she looks up online and sees that NAMI is a resource that can not only help her child, but help her to better navigate dealing with her child, and do it in such a way where the mom's not having to worry about money to do it. It's the services are there, the help is there. I wish when I was going through it that I had a NAMI. I didn't know it existed. So, the big thing for me is just thank you to you and to the other artists for your heart to be a part of it. Like, I really appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I want to see anybody that's on here. Do you guys have any questions real quick for David? David's not even on here yet, and may not even be able to join. But any questions for Jess or Billy? Please feel free to put those in the comments. Thanks, Jay. Jay Simmons says, important conversation. Thank you for having it. We need to talk about this stuff. It needs to happen. I don't think it should happen like once a year for the NAMI walk. We should talk about this all the time. It should be consistent, because there are people going through this stuff daily. There are people struggling behind closed doors. They are battling this stuff. They're fighting these demons. It's really hard.
Let me touch on something you just said, if we can.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about demons, and earlier you asked about the church. Listen, the reason why the Black church, I'm a bishop outside of music and all those other things. I don't know if you guys, I know Jessica knows that, but Mimi, I don't know if you knew that. I'm actually a consecrated bishop outside of music and public speaking and that other stuff. The church ascribes anything mental health related to demonic. That's the devil. We got to cast that out. We got to pray that out. No, it's not demonic. It's not evil. It's not God has forsaken you and your family, or the father has sinned. All the things that we say in the church when a kid is dealing with depression, it does not mean that they have sinned. It doesn't mean that they've made a mistake. It's literally a chemical imbalance in some cases. Like it's something that it has nothing to do with what they've done, and it's just part of the makeup of who they are. Sometimes medication can fix it. Sometimes it can't. But we in the Black church, the reason why we don't talk about it, I talked about fear and understanding. The church has to get out of this mentality that it's all spiritual.
Yes.
It's not spiritual. And one of the things that my mom would say often, let me pick my phone up before it overheats on me again. One of the things that my mom would say often when I was a kid growing up is, you can be so spiritually minded that you're no earthly good.
Mm.
The church is that as it relates to mental health. If we would come alongside people and walk them through it in the natural and love on them instead of ascribing a spiritual cause and effect to the challenges that people face, we see Black people talk about it a lot more. So the stigma in the Black community is way worse than it is in some other communities because we quick to say it's the devil. So you mentioned it earlier, but when you came back and said demonic, I wanted to make sure we hit on that because there's somebody that'll see this and they've had somebody tell them, girl, that ain't nothing but the devil. No, it's not the devil. Get that out of your head. There is help available for you, and it has nothing to do with us praying something off you. Some people need help. I know pastors that get up and preach deliverance, but they're battling with mental health challenges behind closed doors, and they won't talk about it because they don't want their church to leave because they don't want their people to think they've done something wrong. We got to get out of that way of thinking. That's a whole nother call.
Yeah,
but
medication. It's okay.
Somebody needs to hear that.
Somebody needs to hear that, and also need to hear that it's okay to take medication and it's okay to see a therapist.
Come on, how many preachers do you know take blood pressure medication and still go to church's chicken every Sunday? Come on, somebody. Popeyes or wherever, they still taking blood pressure medication every day. Come on, it's the same thing. We just look at it so differently, and that's where the stigma comes from.
Well, I love everything that you guys have said. I don't believe David's going to be able to come on, right?
Yeah, I don't think
he said his wife broke her toe and they're dealing with their kids, so I don't know if he'll be able to join.
Man. But it's all good. I really appreciate you guys, man, for just coming in here and chopping it up with me for a little bit. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm hoping that you guys can share this, and don't just share it just to share it, but share it for two reasons. Because people need to receive hope. And also, we're having this Worker concert on tomorrow, and we need y'all to come on and support us with this thing, okay? So share this, y'all. And I know that in every family, somebody is battling something. So thank you guys again for joining us. Thank you guys for coming in and taking time out of your schedule and your day. I know that you guys are busy. Long day. And have kids. So thank you. I appreciate you guys, and see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Peace out.